Jimbo Paris, and you are listening to The Jimbo Paris Show. Hello, everyone. This is Jimbo Paris. Welcome again to the show. Today we have another special guest, Kenan Weasley Mason, and he is the founder of Kennetic-Fit And Wellness. He's also a holistic psychology practitioner, and he's board certified in minds as well. So he's done a lot of things. He has really helped to advance, his industry and his community. He's very big into health. He's a sports nutritionist. He's done a lot of things to sort of help people out to have better lives, healthier lives, etc. So again, let's get started here. How you doing, Kenan?
I'm doing great. How are you? And thank you for having me.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege, and a person as successful as yourself, I was reading your whole entire resume, and you have all these certifications, you have all these different things you've done. Um, so just to kind of boil this down, can you give me a brief gist to the audience here about who you are, what you're about, and what your message is?
Well, first, my name is Kenan Wesley Mason, and I actually started in massage therapy actually about back in 2002, and that's kind of where I got my first start into natural health, and from there, just started learning about the body and its ways of healing. So I did that for about 10 years. I was nationally certified in the practice of massage therapy. Again, I did that off and on for about 10 years, and I got into having my third degree, Reiki Master's certification. And then in 2011, I got my board certification as a holistic psychology practitioner. But I actually didn't use that certification until much later down the road. I actually was counseling people to go into more fitness and nutrition. I kind of started there first, became certified as a personal fitness trainer in 2010, and nutrition and wellness consulting. I got into that as well in 2010. So I've kind of ran a gauntlet of practices or modalities, if you will. And then I started Kennetic-Fit And Wellness in 2014. And Kennetic-Fit And Wellness is kind of broken up into three elements. The first is fitness and nutrition. So I train people in person here. I'm here just outside of Los Angeles. And then next is what we call physical therapy or physiotherapy for people that are, have either injuries, work-related injuries, sports injuries, or any kind of activity injury, or for people that just want to have maintenance, overall physical maintenance. And then the third element is what I call holistic life counsel. And so I counsel people that have different elements of their lives that they want to either correct or make better. So I give certain tools and things of this nature so people can over time make themselves better. And as a holistic psychology practitioner, I don't diagnose. I leave that to those that are in more clinical psychology or clinical psychiatry. So I don't diagnose anyone as having any sort of disorder. I just take things as they give it to me, take the information as they give it to me, and then I come up with a plan of action so we can work together in helping the individual get that much better with their own lives so they can carve out a new life journey for themselves. So that's kind of a nutshell, if you will, of my journey into where I am right now.
And another question I have is, if you were not you, if you were not this person you are today, then who would you be?
Well, I also have a background in music production and audio engineering. So that was the parallel or the alternative, if you will, or some people would call it a plan B. But I actually incorporated into My music, actually incorporated into my work with doing my counseling and also for my YouTube channels. I use some of my music for my introductions when I did the radio show with my mom back in 2014 to 2016, Aim to Purpose, the radio show. I use some of my music for that as well. So if I wasn't doing this right now, it would definitely be something into the music business or in some form, shape, or fashion. It would be something geared towards music or engineering or production.
How can holistic psychologists help human beings?
Well, first, the client won't have the stigma of being labeled with a certain disorder. They can come in knowing that they made errors in life or they may have had certain experiences and they just want to make themselves better without having this label, if you will, stuck in the back of their head. And then weeks or months or years later, they start to truly believe that that's who they are, the client. And so for me, the more I can influence them to know that they can heal themselves without the intervention of synthetic drugs versus using their own brains to get well, then that's empowering for the individual, knowing that they can heal themselves by themselves as long as they have the tools to do so. All of us have the potential to be just a little bit better every single day. Me, you, your assistants, all of us have the wherewithal to become just that much better by way of knowing that we are better than any drug that's been presented to us, with the notion that all of our emotional wounds will be healed through synthetics. So, my job is to give people the understanding or the hope that there is an alternative, and the alternative is you. The alternative is me. It's the next person coming together with having a meeting of the minds and having an understanding that with having time on our side, because we live in a kind of I call it a microwave society where we want the instant gratification for everything versus taking the time out to really reflect and look at ourselves in the mirror and kind of see where our life journeys have taken us. And if it's taken us in a direction that's hasn't been successful or that of success in some kind of way, then we can go back to the drawing board and regroup and start over. And it's okay. It's okay. Versus having years and years and years and years and years of therapy or treatment. And all we're doing is looking forward to our next refill of prescription drugs. And history has shown us what psych meds can do to the human mind. So for the client, they can know that they can be empowered by knowing that they have everything that they've ever needed to make good in this dimension of life.
So, this is kind of a question I'm going to ask, following along with your expertise. What are sort of the fundamental aspects of physical and both mental health as a holistic psychology practitioner?
Well, just knowing that fundamentally the human body is designed to heal on its own. All of us have that dynamic within us that we can heal. Again, without the use of drug intervention. And I'm not saying that there's no place for it for emergency use. You get into an accident, car accident, or whatnot, you get rushed to the hospital, and they do what they can with their expertise to make you better. But once you come out the hospital, then the knowingness is that we can heal fundamentally. All of us function the same way. We have a heart that beats, we have lungs that breathe in, breathe out, we have brains that think. Fundamentally, the human body is very simplistic in its function, but it can be very complex in explaining how it works to where it's understandable. And again, this is my job coming from a holistic background to make things understandable instead of using a lot of big medical terminology that most people truly, quite frankly, don't understand. So fundamentally, that's my job, to make things as simple as possible. And then it makes the client more at ease to know that, hey, maybe I can heal on my own. As long as I believe that I can, if I can believe that I can heal, then now we're taking a couple of steps forward with the belief that I can heal on my own without any outside help, if you will.
So that falls right into kind of the next thing I want to ask was, how do you think you can bring your clients to a stage where they can believe and that they're ready to accept and embrace change in their life?
That's a great question. Change is probably the hardest thing for many, if not most of us. We love taking the most difficult route to healing versus taking the easiest route from point A to point B. Embracing change, again, can be difficult for people because they've been stuck in their pattern or their way of doing things for so long, possibly from childhood. So when you have a family pattern or a pattern that they may have created based on their environment, it depends on what the person wants, what they want their results to be. And that can change over time as well. So the person has to define what they want or what they would like by first defining all the things that they don't want first, all the mishaps. Let's confront all the mishaps. Let's confront the experiences. Let's confront the negativity. So we can confront it, we can look at it, and then we can make some decisions on how we want to move forward. Do we want to move forward in this direction where we keep having these same reoccurrences of bad luck, if you will, over and over and over and over again? Or will we make a decision based on wanting something different, wanting a different outcome, wanting to create a different reality? So, convincing, I can only do so much convincing that it can be done. The person has to come to that conclusion at some point. The person has to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Only the person can come to that conclusion when they're ready. I can only be the facilitator of information, but the individual has to make their own decisions on whether they want to move forward with that information or whether they want to stay complacent and stuck in their ways. So change is up to the individual. I can influence change, but I can't make the person change. That has to be something that's done with them once they make the decision that they don't want this anymore. They want to go in that direction. Change. And change is difficult when you've been stuck or when you've been complacent or when you don't have any real direction. But when you know that there is a different direction, and again, that's what I'm here to do, just to influence the information that you can go in a different direction. And it may take time for you to carve out that journey or that new journey, but it can be done just with a shift in perception, just a change, a daily change in thinking and making that a new habit. If we can create a habit of destruction, we can make a new habit of construction.
Now, speaking of habits and all this other stuff, how do you think people can positively or negatively affect their motivation in life?
Well, motivation has to do with, what are you reaching for? Do you have a goal for something, for accomplishment? Most people aren't motivated because they don't have a goal or they don't have some kind of chief aim, if you will, a chief aim or some kind of goal that they're shooting for. You can't be motivated if you don't have something to look forward to or some kind of passion for something or loving to do something. That creates motivation, and it can create little successes for you as you move forward. And those little successes can build confidence, and that confidence will want you to do more activity to create more successes. And the more you do those activities, it'll create a habit. The more you do things in repetition, nature takes over at some point. It typically takes either anywhere from 21 to 31 days to create a new habit. So if that's the case, then let's start slow and work our way into the new habit. You work your way into it and create the new brain chemistry so you can release new chemicals in the body by way of the new way of thinking. Habits. And habits, just like you create the habit of learning how to tie your shoe, you can learn the habit of thinking more highly of yourself, building your self esteem or self confidence. All of that can be acquired over time.
Now, as we kind of go into things like confidence and sort of things that might be a block to us through life, what are sort of the common typical causes of trauma that you see as a psychology practitioner?
Well, for most people, I've seen that it usually has to do with some kind of childhood experience. Typically, all the information that we soak up like a sponge is from the time we're born. Actually, during conception, actually, we get all of our traits. But between the ages of 0 and 8, because of the environment that we're in, we get a lot of our traits, our personality, our ways of action, and the way we see the world and our environment usually is through our childhood. And if we filter parents arguing or parents continuously either arguing or seeing their parents physically attacking each other or verbal attacks, name calling, put downs, if you will, this can be traumatic for the child because they have come to the belief that they're less than. And that can create certain traumatic feelings. And that will take the child into their adolescent years, some of our most trying years during the adolescent years. I call them the awkward years. And we make a lot of mistakes during that time. And a lot of it is due to our experiences during childhood, not necessarily knowing how to truly filter our experiences or how to actualize them or realize them, or just taking them at face value and learning from them. As children, we don't know how to do all of that. So we take everything at face value and we kind of accept it as is on the surface. Trauma, any kind of trauma, something horrible happened, but typically it's something in either childhood or something that may have happened during the adolescent years that the child hasn't expressed. So they've kept all these emotions and internalized them. And so that energy gets stuck and it causes us to start to create sort of destructive patterns for ourselves to where we can get ourselves into a lot of trouble. So the better thing to do is to acknowledge the trauma, acknowledge it. Let's put it on the table so we don't have to hold on to it for a lifetime. Because holding on to all that negative energy, it can start to create physical illness, or it can just make you feel bad so consistently that it starts to create depression, and that depression can become chronic or prolonged, and then other conditions can develop through the trauma. So the best thing to do is to confront it versus holding on to it. It can age you, it can suck the life out of you, it can suck the life force out of you over time to where you might be 30 years of age, but you're looking 60 because you've had all this stuff that you've held on to. And negative energy has mass, it holds weight, or you can measure it. So, trauma, the physical memories of the traumatic event may never go away, but the emotional value of it can be reduced.
Interesting. And this is all great information. And this kind of I'm thinking now too, you practice holistic psychology, you have clients, you communicate with them, and This is sort of a question I have usually for all therapists, all people that do some form of consulting. But the advice you tell other people, is that also the same advice that you may occasionally apply to your own life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I took my psychology course back in 2011. That's when I got my board certification. Fast forward just not this summer, but last summer of 2022, I took it upon myself to retake my course just as a refresher for myself. And it turns out that my dissertation that I had to do back in 2011, I think it was about maybe, I don't know, 11 pages or so. Fast forward to 2022, I had a lot more to put on paper. So it turned out to be, I think, almost 30 pages of information because I had experienced more life. I became a father. And so all the tools that I learned to give to my clients, I had to do those assignments as well for myself. So I can put my thinking cap on and be like, you know what? Wow, okay. I have changed a little bit from the time of 2011 to today by applying all the tools on myself. So I can look at myself and make the necessary adjustments so I can be better. Because the more better that I am, I can pass that information on to the client. And it'll make for better dialogue too. And it helps for me to be a better listener. Many of us, if not most of us, kind of go through some of the same things in life. Universally, we kind of all go through the same kind of stages. You know, we crawl before we walk, and then we go through our childhood stage. Then we go through our adolescent stage. We might have different learning curves, but nonetheless, we go through the stage. And many of us make certain errors in life. So, because of that, I go to my old paperwork and look through it. And then I might go through one of the assignments over again. You know, I do writings regularly, different conditioning statements that I give myself, a reminder on how to keep my mind on track so I don't derail, right? So, yes, I keep my mind refreshed. I'm always reading something or writing something. If I have an idea, I'll write it down immediately so I don't forget. If I'm having a not so great day, which all of us do, none of us live in the world of perfection. So when we have a not so good day, I'll take the time out, and I'll do a couple of things so I can clear my mind, whether it be listening to some soft music or listening to some of the audios that I created for clients. I'll listen to them myself. Anything and everything to keep my mind in the quote right direction. So, yes, I do the very things that I give my clients, I give myself because I can't expect or have the expectation of, well, I'll just pass this along to them and hopefully it will work. Hopefully it'll work without even trying it on myself first. Before you have anyone do something, it would be best if you try it on yourself first and see what your results are from it. And so far, it's been a lengthy learning curve for me because I've taken some detours along the way, but it always brings me back to the place where I am now. So I can keep my consciousness level here. Because sometimes, hey, I get kind of lax at times, but nonetheless, I still keep my eye on the prize, if you will. Always keeping my mind sharp or sharpening the axe, if you will, so I can make myself that much better for the client. That way, they have a better comfort with me being their therapist or counselor.
Excellent. This has been a great interview. I really enjoyed it. And sort of the final question I have now is, what is the best advice you could give to anyone? And how can we reach out to you, or how can uh, people watching this reach out to you and sort of begin to uh, investigate and kind of work with your services?
To answer your first question, do the best that you can to get to know all that you can about you, and take the time out for you, because it's okay to think about ourselves sometimes. Many times we focus on everyone else or everything else, and we leave ourselves on the back burner, and making sure everyone else is okay first. And then maybe somewhere down the line, we'll kind of take care of ourselves and give ourselves some attention. So the best thing to do is to take some time out for you, take some time out for yourself. And it's okay. And it's okay to say no to people at some time, so you can take time for yourself. Say yes to you at times. The best way to reach me, well, I'm on social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Well, there I am right there. That's my Thumbtack account. And actually, through my Instagram page, which is Ken and Wesley Mason, I have a link that links you directly to what's up on the screen right now. And that will give you all the information on who I am, what my business is, and how the individual can benefit from it if they choose to move forward. So Facebook, it's Ken and Mason. Instagram and TikTok, it's Ken and Wesley Mason. And you can also go to my YouTube channels. One is Kennetic-Fit And Wellness Info, and that's Kennetic, Kennetic. And my other YouTube channel is the Kennetic Hour, is me stepping back into the realm of podcasting. As I mentioned earlier, I did a radio show with my mom called Aim to Purpose, the radio show, from 2014 to 2016. And so now, 7, 8 years later, I'm getting back into broadcasting, and it's great. I haven't been doing it for too long, but I'm in the same position as you right now, hosting and interviewing different guests. So it's great. So go to my YouTube channels, the Kennetic Hour. And again, that's Kennetic, Kennetic. So that's how you can find me.
All right, Ken and Wesley Mason, thank you for being on the show. This really has been a privilege. You definitely pushed out a lot of great gems here. Thank you, everyone, for watching this show. Check us out next time. This is the Jimbo Paris Show. I'm currently working on a passion project that I'm really excited about, but I need your help to bring it to life. We will be launching soon our very own Jimbo Paris Academy, and this is going to be about aspiring creators and creating concepts. Thank you for your support. I'm sharing free bonus content to supporters, so let's make some amazing content together. Our affiliate partner, LifeWork Systems, focused on helping create a better collegial environment, looking at the mental health of business workers, business employees, and overall bringing the business up. Thank you for listening to the Jimbo Paris Show.